Sorry, I was fiddling around with studio mode there, I think, and faded to black instead of to the actual sandbox. Let's turn that music down a little bit, otherwise it's going to be too loud. There we go. Bit of a funny start, that one, sorry. Right, so welcome back. I'm just in the process of writing the TSN sandbox. Last time you watched, I was creating this specialist menu, and we just finished creating the cluster mines to be able to deploy the cluster mines and activate the cluster mines. And I'd done all the code for ship 1, so I'd gone through here and I'd set these up. So I had ship select as 1, setting up all the cluster mines. I'm going to bring up a game as well, actually, so you can see what it looks like in game. Start that there. So I'm just starting up a server on my other screen. So we completed all this code. Some of this was started during the Armada Online, and I finished it off earlier this evening. Or it's this evening for me at least. I finished it off earlier this evening, creating this, checking it so it all worked, making sure there were no bugs in it, fixing it, and just doing the odd tweak here and there. And now the next job is to duplicate it, because as you can see, this is all for ship 1, but in actual fact there are 8 ships that this needs to be applied to. Something else that I thought of doing was having it so more than one ship could deploy these cluster mines. So TSN sandbox, start that there, go to game master. Just getting the screen set up. So here's my server screen. Sorry, not my server screen. Here's my game screen that I can test it, and I can show you what point we got to last time. So at this point I'm just waiting for the sandbox activate button to pop up. It'll pop up every minute just in case I've missed it, along with like the date here. I need to fix that when I actually release it. So I'm just going to pick one of the lower arcs. Here we go. And I'll put the players there. So all this code here for ship 1, if I go into comms, it will create a specialist menu. I can open that and I can deploy the cluster mines, or I can go back and then I can go back again if I want, all the way to channel 1. Deploy a cluster mine. So it will deploy the point where the cluster mine will be spawned, and then obviously the players will have to move away. That point is spawned within 100 units of the ship, and then once the players want to activate, they can click activate cluster. I'll go back here and you can see it actually spawns the cluster at that point. Okay, and then obviously the button's gone because there's no more cluster mines to activate. So that's that all done. So each ship at the minute, or the ship 1 at the minute, will have a single cluster mine to deploy. Hopefully that sounds not too loud. I'm just going to listen to it on my stream, see if it's too loud. Okay, yeah, the sound balance sounds alright on the YouTube feed. I don't have any viewers at the minute, but if somebody is watching this back later on and I've got the sound wrong, it's going to be no good, is it? Okay, so I'm going to save that. Now I want to replicate this for all 8 ships. So you can see this is ship select 1. That 1 refers to ship 1 comms menu. Ship 1 here, cluster mine, and then cluster mine 0, 1. And then we've got other things like cluster mine 0, 1 here, and then this set the mine point cluster mine 01, and then there was something else here actually, player slot 0 as well. So all those need to be changed for every single ship, because that would have to be player slot 1 for ship 2, player slot 2 for ship 3, which is a little bit fun when you've got to remember that a little bit. And 01, I can't have ship 2 spawn cluster mine 01, because that's then going to cause conflicts, and the script won't know where to send the cluster mines, will get confusion, and it'll too much crossover, and it'll just be a bit of a mess basically. So I am going to duplicate this code and change all of those bits so that it will be 02, 03, 04. In fact, I'm not going to do it as 0203, I'm going to do it as 112131, like that. And I've made a start on this already. Down here you can see what I've done is I've taken this folder and I've just made a copy of it, and then I've pasted it, so I've got an identical copy of it. And then everywhere where I want the ship number to be changed, I put in this here, just in brackets, and I've written ship number. So you can see ship select equals ship number. Up here it was ship select equals 1. Here I've got ship number cluster mine. Up here I've got, where have you gone? Where have you gone? I've lost it. It's in here, that's why. Ship 1 cluster mine. So I've gone through all of this code here and replaced those bits all the way through. Now what I've got is 0 ship number, and I've decided I want that the other way around, so actually I'm going to do a quick find and replace, and I'm just going to do it in here where it says CL01 ship number, close brackets, and that's a point there. I want it to be CL ship number and the 0 after it. I'm going to find it first to make sure I can find it. So it finds it, all of them here. Good. I'm going to replace it with it the other way around. Only in selected node, replace all, it should come up with the same ones. Here we go. So that's a dead quick fix. So I've got cluster mine 1010. Okay, so this is all ready to be duplicated in all of these. Just let that load for a second. Because it's such a big script, it can take a little bit of time just to open these bits up. You can see I've got ship 1 has got the specialist already, ship 2 hasn't got any specialist. Neither has ship 3, 4, 5 or 6. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy that, paste it in there, and in here I'm going to paste it again. And here. This is one way I work on the code. I just do it for one ship first and then figure out which variables I need to change and copy and paste. I found that to be the most efficient way of putting all this together. Obviously I'd have to go back to these menus, double check all these menus, and then manually do these menus, but that's going to be a lot less work to do than having to manually change all of this code. So now here, ship 1's already done, ship 2, all I need to do is replace ship number with 2. Only in the selected node, so it's only going to do it. This is find options here, only in that selected node, only in specialist, and it should do all of these and a few more, I think. So replace all. Ooh, I've missed the first bracket. That's annoying. So where I've got bracket 2, where's bracket 2? Alright. So where I've got bracket 2, I just want to replace it with 2. Hopefully that'll fix it. There we go. Just double checking all the statements to see that it's not accidentally replaced something else. It shouldn't do, because there's only one reference of bracket 2, or one type of bracket 2. Yep, that was good. Right, back to ship name. Was it ship name or ship number? I think it was ship number, wasn't it? Probably ship number, yeah. So 2's done. On to 3. And then I want to do 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And then what I'll have to do as well, there was one more that was player slot, because the player slot number is different to the ship number. Ship number 1 is player slot 0, ship number 2 is player slot 1. I'm sure those of you who understand coding better than I know why ship number 1 is 0, ship number 2 is 1. I think it's because computers start counting at 0 instead of 1. That's a layman's explanation. Alright, so that's all that done. Now if I look at these, look at number 8 for example, we've got ship select is 8, so that occurs when channel 8 is selected here. Ship select is 8, ship 8 cluster mine is 1, cluster mine 8, 0. All the way through. Highlights all the code that's changed as well. The special ops one here doesn't really matter because that will only change through this menu anyway, and it's kind of a generic one for all of them, so it doesn't really make a difference. Sorry, I was just coughing a bit there. Didn't want to cough down the microphone, so I muted it. So as long as all this is correct, all the rest of them should be correct, because they're all identical code. Yep, that looks good. Now, that's all the actual cycle through done. I'm going to expand on it later, I think, which means I'm probably going to have to redo that stage anyway. But I want the first iteration of this idea in the sandbox ready to go. And then I'll go and expand on it later, because my my objective is to be able to have, say, an inventory of how many cluster mines that you've got. And ships will be able to deploy more than one cluster. They'll be able to deploy several clusters and then activate them all at the same time, or deploy one, activate it, deploy the next, activate it until they've run out. So that basically what I could do then is have a ship with an inventory of cluster mines and say, right, ship 8 is equipped with 8 cluster mines, so it can deploy 8 of them, and basically it becomes a mine layer for setting up minefields, defensive minefields, which would be pretty cool actually. In the TSN RP community, we had to go at setting up defensive minefields, doing those kind of operations, and we worked. So we came up with a protocol of helm setting a certain speed, and then weapons dropping a mine every few seconds or something like that, so that we had, it was all done manually, but it would give us the right spacing of mines. Took a lot of coordination, that one. It's good fun though. It's kind of a skill we don't use a lot because it's a little bit slow for games, and there wasn't much call for setting up a defensive minefield really. More frontline combat ships getting into the action rather than the auxiliary ships behind. However, I did think of coding an allied ship that could come on and deploy a minefield. So with the patrol code that I was working on, so the patrol AI, where are we gone? Just as a side track, with the patrol AI here, could use that for getting a mine layer to come on and set up a minefield in a certain area or something. I'm still working on that one. Right, so here I'm just going through each main menu and adding the special operations comms button to appear, making sure that all these menus match now. So this is a little bit more manual work to make sure that they're all identical. So that one shouldn't change because there's nothing in that one that I've modified, nothing in that one that I modified. This one, however, everybody needs this one. Now I should be able to copy this, paste it, and then I'll go through and edit it in a second, but I'm going to give every event, sorry, I'm going to give this event to every single ship first. I'm just going to manually edit each one. I could do the find and replace trick again, but I mean, it takes a few minutes to set up, and you've got to be very careful about what it is that you're going to replace. So like, I'd have to look at which ones I needed to replace, which ones that I didn't, and this is a bit less thought, to be honest, rather than going through it. So ship 2 specialist menu, and I think it's only a couple of things anyway, so the amount of find and replace that I would have to do, I mean, it's just that, I think, and that and that, so that's that, 3 bits. Whereas the other one, there were so many events, it was worth doing the find and replace. This one is just finding the 3 places that it is and doing it quickly. And if I go through like this as well and double check it each time, if there's anything I've missed in the previous menus, I can go back and fix it quickly. That's that one done. That's it, yep. That's number 4 done. all my events I take the time to name in full, so it's really clear what's going on. There's a lot of events in this. And if I name them in full, it makes it really, really easy to retrace my steps, figure out what's what. I know a lot of people who write lots and lots of code, shorten names and things, but then you got to memorize it, and I like plain English. I'm in no rush. Number 6. I've done it again. I don't have OCD, honest. I just like the space. Consistency. A little that extra bit of effort is worth it. Right. That's all that was done. So that's the new menu options added. So I'm going to go back up here. Back to ship 1 menu. So I need to add these. I can just copy those. I think that's the last one. Drop it in there. Yep. Right, that's everything. Now then, there were a few properties that needed to be in the start block, weren't there? So there was this one. That one didn't necessarily need to be there, and that one can be in as well. So where are we? Adding shutter, sandbox activation, general, especially subs, check. There's a lot of variables in this start. You can see these are all for the random damage. So GMs can set random damage to player ships. It caught a few people out actually during one of the games. Their ship had exploded, so I allowed them to respawn, but as a penalty I set random damage on. So they constantly were taking damage and they didn't quite know why. It's not a penalty that players are used to getting. So as a game master you have to communicate that to your players if it's on. These are all for these are all for the random naming system, random coordinates. The refresh is for the GM button refreshing, so like I've called these GM specific. That's for the rendezvous point, so that I think it rotates, so that it's not just static. These are for the scan points that you can spawn. BB number, I don't know what BB, or black box number. See, that's why, you see, naming it just BB number, I can remember what BB stands for. I thought it was black hole a second. but it's not, it's black box. So the black boxes, James can spawn as many black boxes that they want, and they interact a slightly different way with shuttles. The shuttle has to hold position next to them and download the data from it before they can move on. Life pod waypoint number, right? Okay. So where do we get up to? So I've done the specialist ops check. Now I want, let's add a new comment in here to separate it. So we will call this specialist ops specific. So what we're going to do is we're going to take these out of here. I want to put down here. I hope it's still streaming. Hopefully it is. Okay, so now what I need to do is I need to do those 8 times. And then rename them. It is still streaming, isn't it? Now this changed, didn't it? Number 0. So I changed that round. Zero. So I'm gonna have to change that around there actually. And then here, custom line. Let's change that to 10. Change this one to 10. See, if I click on that, we open up all the variables, and you can see here there are a lot of variables set in the sandbox and used, and they keep going. This is why I name them all, because there are so many of them, and I don't use this either because there are too many variables to go through. It's not really a problem on smaller mission scripts, but on this mission script it is a bit of an issue. So that's why I use it in dialog and edit it in the dialog box. Right, so got those 3. I want to keep doing them, so that's ship 1, ship 2, ship 3, and then just to speed up the process, copy them. So we've got ship 1, ship 2, ship 3, ship 4, ship 5, ship 6, ship 7, so I need one more. Just copy that one. Ship 8. Right, now I need to do find and replace. Again, ship number 1. No, 2. I've got that one. I'm going to click on there. Well, 1, so it should replace just that next one. 2, 3. And number 3, 1, 2, 3. And number 4 and 3 times. And number 5 and 3 times, all the way through like that. When it catches up. Number 4, 1, 2, 3. Just thing with this, I don't know whether it's my computer that's slow or whether it's just the way that this works that causes it to slow down. But it does. 1, 2, 3. It does just take a moment just to register it and load it. I think because maybe it's saving backwards and forwards. I don't know. Somebody who wrote it or knows the background code or knows a little bit more will probably be able to say why. 1, 2, 3. I imagine it's because you've got the XML document itself, then you've got this in between, and this is then writing to that XML document, so that when I save it, it just keeps all that, or it's writing to memory or something, I don't know. 1, 2, 3. It'd be interesting to find out if anybody did know. And ship number 8. 1, 2, 3. And that's it. All of that code is now duplicated, so it should work for any ship in any slot. Eight, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now did I replace the other part as well? Because there was another part about player slot. There's this one, ship slot. So ship slot for ship 2 is 1. And it's only one piece of code to replace in this. Here is 2. Here is 3. This one's 4. You can see it's replacing it, so it's now object in place slot 4. That means that the ship doesn't have to be named. It was really good that that part of the code, that part of the XML was started working and it was fully implemented, because it just meant I could strip out all the names. The only names now are the shuttle names which were added. That's because you can't track like shuttle in slot 1. So that's that, and I can delete this now. I don't need that. Save. So that's all the specialist menus replicated for all ships. Let's get a couple more screens up here. So I know it works perfectly for ship 1, so I'm not going to take ship 1. I'm going to take ship 2, and for this one I'm going to take ship 3. And then I think I'll also take like ship 7 or 8 to check it works for that. So for this one I'm going to take ship. Let's take ship 5, captain's map, helm, main screen, comms. And then ship 8 over here. captain's map, comms, helm, main screen. So if you look, here's my server control screen. Artemis has got nothing on it. Intrepid, Excalibur and Diana have all got one client and 3 stations selected. So if I go start game, nothing spawned. Over here I'm going to spawn ship 2. Over here I'm going to spawn ship 5, and over here I'm going to spawn ship 8. This script will run with those 3 ships spawned. You do not have to have a ship in ship slot 1 spawned. That's a common misconception, that one, I think. So there's the comms buttons on these. I have not got a comms button on this one though, so I need comms here. Here we go. So there's a comms station on each of them. I'll just wait for that reboot. Here we go. Atlantis, Sector 1. So we've got Channel 2, Channel 5, Channel 8. Basic. Player to GM. Okay. There they are. So what I want to do is deploy from Channel 2. Cluster deploy. And then back here I should be able to deploy from Channel 5. And here, doesn't really matter which ship I'm on, deploy from Channel 8. Okay, move the players away. There we go. So I've got 508020. So it's going to be like cluster 5. Cluster ship 5 first cluster, or 0 cluster, and then when I add the stagger in, it'll be ship 5 cluster 1, ship 5 cluster 2, cluster 3, cluster 3, 4, like that. Okay, now I should go Channel 2, specialist ops, activate cluster, deletes cluster 2, yes, back. Now this will be interesting. If I go back to Channel 2 and Specialist Ops, nothing's there, good. Channel 5, Specialist Ops, activate cluster. Excellent. And then Channel 8, Specialist Ops, activate cluster. Excellent. So one is here, one's here, and one's here. That's an interesting shape, isn't it? Brilliant. Works. Cluster mines. First iteration is complete. Okay, I'm going to close these down. I'm going to keep that one open so that I can test some more bits. Let's get this back open. Do I have anybody watching? I have 2 viewers. Don't know who's watching at the minute. Now I've got a decision to make. Do I want to expand on the cluster mines now so you can do as many as I want, or do I want to start on the AI stuff? I think if I'm going to do as many as I want, that's going to cause problems because I have to set all of these here. So actually I don't want to do that, and I think I've just spotted a bug. That's cluster 10 over here. Those are all fine. it's 0.1, so that's going to cause a problem. In fact, what I'll do is I'll do a find and replace. Let's do a find all first. Yeah, look, referenced all there. I need to replace those. One, 0. Place all just in that selected node. There we go, that will have fixed the bug. Just want to check ship 1 now actually. Begin. Oh, I've not got comms. So time here is 23:15. I think actually I'm not gonna expand on any more code now. I am gonna finish this up, change the version numbers, cluster deploy, GM, activate cluster. There we go. Good, that works. Right, need to update the version numbers. So I put this note for me in here because I added a version number and then I'd update it, but I'd missed bits of it. So I added this note at the top just to say where my version numbers were. So I've got it as a pop-up in the start and button in the set activate button. So in the start menu there's a pop-up. Is the version number. Version number should now be 0505. Interesting. So this is version 8 of the sandbox. So there's a pop-up there. Then there's a button here. There is actually in the refresh as well, I think, you know. Here we go. I don't think there's any more. I'm surprised I missed that one. So there and there and there. And I don't bother updating this version 8 bit here. I don't think a lot of people, because the TSN RP community plays online, I don't really bother with the big screen messages. There's one person that runs a server, and I don't think they even look at the server because I think it's like an Amazon AWS server, so they'll just run it and minimize it, and then they'll see their own, and you don't get the big screen messages on main screens on other ships. Lots of people don't watch the main screen anyway, I think. A couple of people who stream do, I guess. So pop-up updated and button updated. Good. Yeah, Yeah, I've never done anything with this instructions really. Looks like I did a while ago. Done. So I might try streaming again. If I see that people are viewing these, I'll look at streaming again a couple of times, because even when I'm streaming it records it so you can watch it back. So if I see the views on them, I will go back and I will have a look at this patrol route. That's going to be an interesting one, because there's quite a few complicated things that I need to work out there. I'm not sure if it'll even work, but I'll go through the whole process if people are interested in that. I was working on it here, so that, like I say, that I had this enemy AI originally, and it's all disabled now, I think. Yeah, I disabled it all because I was replacing it with this. Down in, I can close all this up actually. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. So down in the GM keys here, I showed it in my earlier stream, but I changed things around in these spawn keys. In fact, if I've still got the game running. Here we go. So what you could do is you could spawn enemies and you could set their AI. So you'd use this drop down and it would change the AI type that they spawned with. So it'd either be default or it'd be like one that you specified, so you could tweak it on the fly instead of having to spawn them, then go into this menu and change them here. So these will all correspond to the types that you can set up here as well. So it took a little bit of scripting. I'd already tried doing this before and it didn't work, so I went back and I left it for it's probably been a year since I looked at this actually, and this is all new code. This isn't the same as what I'd started a year ago. It's because I thought I'd give it another go. So for example here, if it's set to default, I'll get rid of all the buttons that are otherwise spawned. These ones spawn different buttons, you see, and there's different things there. So like that will spawn the guard station button, that will spawn the hunt station button, and it's all what you see here, so it'll create that button. So if you do default, then it'll set that, and the AI override is set to 0. That AI override is set to 1, AI settings 1, AI override to 1, setting 2, because then what happens is it creates an override in it. So if I go into hegemony here, I don't know if I set this bit up. So auto AI type is 1, so it will select the AI. I think, did I do it for the USFP? I think I'd done it for the USFP already. Civilian ships, military ships. This is where I'd start my work on it. I'm sure I'd start something there. Or was it earlier on? Is it the random name? basically when you spawn a ship, see it goes auto AI type up to 1, and it creates a ship with this name dash dash. So what happens then is any ship with that name that's created, it also says name assigned 0 1 here, 1 0 here. So what happens is that's created, and then name assign comes on. Name assign is 1. Randomly generate the first and second number, and set name assign to 2. And there's a letter prefix as well. So the letter prefix starts with letter 1, which is A. So if the letter prefix is 1, it's A. If it's 2, it's B. If it's 3, it's C. Like that. And name assign switches to 2. Then if that object exists and it's got a double dash next to it, then it'll set it with the first random number and the second random number. So sorry, that's a check to see if that random number name already exists. Then it sets it, and then it sets it back to 1, and it cycles through back and forth like that. And then the AI, it sets all this AI code. So if I go to my original, if the AI type was cut 2, it would set all this AI code for the ship that spawned, and it would do that before it goes through this part to assign the name. Then it'd go back to this, it'd set the AI for the next ship, then it would rename the next ship, then it'd go back and set the AI for the next ship and rename the next ship. And it would do it very, very quickly. If you've got server lag, it would take a while to go through them all. And in game, say if I spawned Hegemony Forces and I spawned Fleet, I'm going to zoom right in so you can see. There we go, Fleet. And I spawn a light fleet. You'll see they go with dashes and then they change. So before they change, they set the AI so that they have all now got the same AI stack, which will be this AI stack. And that's continually firing until the name assign's finished. In fact, I think that's just constantly firing, you know, until it's changed. I could put like complete name assign, and I could put AI to 0 or something like that. But I don't really want to do that. I've never had a problem with it just being open. So AI override is 0. AI override to 1. If I find where that was. There it was. Override default AI. So if it was 1 and the auto AI type doesn't equal the AI setting, then it would set the auto AI type to that setting. So basically we would say, right, to overwrite it, I'm going to do that instead. And it overrides it basically. It took a bit of thinking through that one and figuring out exactly where to place the XML. So like here it's after the auto AI type has been set here, because then it checks, then it goes right back to the beginning and goes through top to bottom. So if you imagine, it reads the instructions from top to bottom every single time. And if there's something in the instructions that it gets to that's changed, it'll do that and then come back. It's almost like a branch. So it'll go off on a branch and then come back in, instead of going straight down the list. think that's the best analogy I've got for it. So all these had like an AI type that would set. So you can see this was AI type 200. This was AI type 1. I think, let's see what had a different, Caltrons had a different AI type. So like the Caltrons here, single ship Caltrons. And doing it this way as well with the override down here just meant that I didn't have to go through and change all these AI types. Although I'm going to have to go through anyway. See there, AI type 301. And then up here, if it had the AI type 301, it would set that. If it had AI type 300, it would set that code. But what I had here was there was neutral side 2 and enemy side, and that's a bit obsolete now because of the way ships treat AI. So I don't really need the two different ones. That and the player can be set to a different side. So these guys can be set to a different side, and it's just not necessary anymore. So I disabled all this code and all this code, and I've started rewriting it down here. And this is where I can make the standard enemy AI react a little bit better. So what you often see is players will fly in, one ship will fly in, hit the enemies first, and then just spend forever leading them one direction, and the enemies won't change their mind and attack somebody else. So they'll always, I think it's this chase anger that does that. So this is pretty much set up similar to the standard AI that enemy ships are given. In fact, talking about that, those enemy ships are going to be closing. Yeah. End. Where has it gone now? So they will always chase that anger. Now if I put something after that, like chase player ship, chase AI ship, chase station, if I put it after that, then they'll change their mind when a player ship's close. So like if I take that and drop it under here, and then change that to say 400. So you can fly past it and shoot it, but if somebody else gets a little bit close, they're going to change their mind and go after that ship instead. The Caltron AI is a little bit like that. So here's the Caltron AI. So they'll chase a ship within, a station, and a ship, and a station, then a ship, and it's a little bit more complicated there. Code switches. I don't think, actually, no, it's not that one, it's this one. Here we go. So any player within 20,000, then any player with 3,000, then any player within 2,500, and they won't chase anger. So they're really tricky because they will swap targets repeatedly depending on which one's closer, which has thrown a few people. It's resulted in a few ships destroyed in the TSN. Also got like surrender chance set to 0, so they'll never surrender. I lower the surrender chance usually for standard ships at 20%, so every 1 in 5 should surrender. Sometimes I put that a little bit lower so that you're not just getting whole fleets to surrender. Anyway, I was working on this patrol code here, and this is where this patrol 1 was coming in. Now this was where the tricky bit was. I know I said I wasn't going to go on to this because it was getting late, and it is rather late, but it's piqued my interest now. So this is the patrol creation. So we've got deploy marker 1. AI override to, I think I've got those two the wrong way around, haven't I? Where are you? The AI override wants to be 1 and the AI setting wants to be 150. Yeah. Apply marker 2, so you can see you can place the marker there. Marker 2, marker 3, then gather data. So that was all those variables that you saw in the start block, the patrol x1, x2 and x3. So that's basically patrol marker 1, patrol marker 2, patrol marker 3, which are these, patrol 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 3. So I have to consider how many patrols I want, and I copied and pasted these and commented them out. And had I set up begin patrol creation, patrol letter to letter prefix, patrol number to patrol number +1. So it was this patrol letter that I was going to use. Just the one patrol letter. When do I change the letter prefix? I think I changed the letter prefix after begin name assign. Letter prefix to letter prefix, good. Complete letter prefix to +1. Okay. So when I do that, the patrol letter and the letter prefix will match. And set patrol number to patrol number +1. So up here I should have patrol number set to 0, so then it sets it to 1, which is this. Then I get the data, okay, and then I remove the markers. This is where it takes some thought, because you see the patrol AI can be for any ship. So I have some GM code already for assigning AI to a ship, and it's in the AI menu, so I can possibly use that. AI keys, here we go. It's called AI keys, by the way, and point of interest keys and hazard keys, because in an earlier iteration of the sandbox, there weren't any buttons. That was before the buttons were created for the Game Master console, and you had to use key pressers. So now that those buttons, I just haven't changed the word keys to buttons. It's just an artifact of that, basically. Now, digit cycle types, let's say. Here we go. See, there's set AI for group A all the way through to Z. There's a lot of code went into this, so let's grab this and drop it in here. And I'm going to build on this, I think. I'll take some ideas from this. So set route for patrol 1, and then I'll have set route for patrol 2, and patrol 3, and patrol 4. I think I'll have like 4 patrol routes. I'm going to have to do this the other way around, but that's the way I do it. Now I've got this digit cycle. So I need this. I'll need a modified version of that. So paste. Let's get rid of this. I think I need all that, actually. I need that. Right, let's take all that, because I'm going to have... I need that 8 times, I think. So there's 1. There's 2. Just speeds it up. So there's a lot of AI to assign here. 4. I think that's it. How many have I got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so I only need actually 1 more here. Copy that, paste it there. So I'm going to go dash dash. I want to replace it with this. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. See how far that gets me. I think it was 15 that I needed to do it. It's going a lot longer than I was expecting. I end up spending hours and hours scripting just because I get carried away with extra bits like this. So I'm like, oh, there's that next feature. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So I need this one. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. And that should leave me one more to do. Turns out it doesn't. The next one, letter assign. We assign number 4. So it used to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 like that, but found that the cycle took too long to reassign the AI when you wanted it a little bit quicker, so I changed it. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. And by changing it, it just sped up the cycle. It doubled the speed of the cycle. I mean, I could do it even faster with more code, I think, but then there'd be loads of code, and I don't want that. So I found like a balance between the two that give a happy medium. Okay, so the next one should be 6, I think. Yep. So I'm doing this because every time that patrol reaches a point, I want it to change onto the next point. So this X1 will change to X2 and X3 and X4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh no. Press the wrong button. Because that's done that one and that one. I'm going to change that. Never mind. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. There we go. Got out that one. gonna have to get some more music, because I think now it's just looping. This is the same music, because I've been going for so long. I think this is the third time I've heard this one. Right, so I don't want it to call reassign number, because I already used that for the game master down here to reassign AI. And this letter name I'm going to have to change as well. So this is where we start getting lots and lots of code. Because I'm going to have A to Z, and I'm going to have 1 to 3. So delete. Waypoint 1, waypoint 2. So I'm going to have waypoint 1, waypoint 2, waypoint 3. This is going to be a significant amount of code to set up this patrol route, and this is why I only want to do, like, I might just keep it at 1 patrol route for the time being. I do have the ability to expand it here. How do I check that that fleet has got there? So actually I don't need it for waypoint 1. I only need it for waypoint 2 and 3 because when they're originally given, their patrol route, they'll go towards number 1. Well, I've got another viewer, hello. Breaking stuff. Yes. Yes I am. I'm trying to puzzle out this patrol route at the minute. So the cool thing is, if you're watching live, you've just joined and you haven't heard the music for the 3rd time. Go back to the beginning, you can listen to all these tracks that I'm playing 3 or 4 times. I'm not sure if this patrol route's going to work. It will definitely allow me to get ships to go to a particular location. So if worst comes to worst, it will be a way to get enemy ships to travel to a location that you want. See, this I'm going to have to check for names of ships that are within that patrol group. But if any ships within that patrol group are not there, then it won't check this. However, I could use this to check whether the ship in that group still exists, and then use that to set up which one is going to trigger this resetting. That could work. Right, okay, we're getting into the complex nature of this now. Right, okay, so I need check patrol ships. It's way over your head. It's way over my head as well, trust me. So I'm gonna cycle name check. So I want to cycle through the name check, and once I've got the name, I want to set it to that name. Set name. So I need like a patrol check. I won't call me an expert, I'll just say I've done it a lot. I don't think I'm the expert. So if object with name call this letter name, because that could be any letter like A to Z. So I can find it. Basically what I can do with this at the minute is I can find and replace, so I can do it for A, B, C, D all the way through the alphabet to Z just by changing this letter name, because it's going to have to check all of A, then all of B, then all of C, depending on what it is. The patrol number has to match up with the prefix letter of that fleet group with letter name, and then we need first patrol number, and then second patrol number. I'm gonna first patrol number, second patrol number. If that doesn't exist, then what I want you to do is I want you to get the first patrol number, and I want you to increase it by 1. And then I want you to check again. then increase it by 1, check again, increase it by 1, check again. Then, if it still doesn't exist, and the first, oh dear, that was a bad idea, wasn't it? If it still doesn't exist and the first patrol number equals 10, then I want you to set the first patrol number back to 0. I want you to increase the second patrol number by 1. And then I want you to go back and I want you to recheck. So then you'll do 0, 0, 1, 0, 2, 0, 3, 0, 4, 0, 5, 0. Then when you get to 1, 0, 0, you'll go back and you'll go 0, 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 3, 1, 4, 1 like that. And you'll cycle through. I'm going to create another folder in here actually. Did I have a capital for name? I think I did, didn't I? Yeah. All these need to go in here. So, if it doesn't exist, then you're going to start searching for it. If it does exist, and it's within a certain distance of the patrol point, that's interesting. Sorry, I'll move that over here so you can see what I'm doing. I want to see how this box works. Right, okay. Alright, okay. I'm going to do it as a sphere instead. And I'm going to define that first one. I'm going to define that as 0. I'm going to define that first one and that last one. I'm going to set the range as 1000. So there's plenty of room for maneuver. And here, now I did get digits. Where's my patrol? Marker 1. I can gather data, here we go. Oh, yeah. Okay. Do you know, actually, I will need a third waypoint because then I could have them do a loop and just keep patrolling between those three, like a triangle. So, if it doesn't exist, you're going to search for it. If it does exist, and it's within that sphere, then you're going to set all this. No, you're not. Because if you're in that sphere, you're only going to set the first one. That needs to repeat until I've got through all of them. If an object doesn't exist, but it's outside the defined range, nothing will happen. There's no condition for that. So it's not going to check. It's not going to say, oh yeah, that object doesn't exist, because the way it's checking here, it's checking if it exists and if it's got this name and it's inside this sphere, then it'll set that. But I want these two. There is a reason why I want these two, but I can't think of it off the top of my head, because I don't think I want these two in this event. I need them in a new event. I don't want them here. I want them here. And I need to figure out a way to set this so it doesn't interfere with other AI as well. This is why this is very this is quite complex to think through. So if you don't exist, you're going to search for it. If you do exist and you're inside there, then you're going to start a cycle of renaming. Basically, yeah, it will search through those names, and then when it's grabbed something and this condition is met, that it's inside that sphere, it will reassign that. Reassign to waypoint 1. So sorry, Wolf. Well, yeah, but I came back on because I I took a break from it just to go out for an evening walk, get some fresh air, and then I've come back to it because I wanted to finish off those cluster mines. So those cluster mines are finished now, and then I was an hour ago I was going to end and come back to this, but I've got carried away. So if it's inside there, that's Z1. Right. So this needs to be the second marker, and this needs to be the second marker. And this needs to be the third marker. And this needs to be the third marker. And where I've got this patrol number, I need to change that to 1. Was it like that? Add a capital N. So this is patrol marker 1, patrol 1, marker 1, patrol 1. I don't know why I've done them backwards, because this is patrol marker 2 of 1 of route 1, patrol marker 1 of route 1, 2 of route 1, 3 of route 1. I don't know what you're on about with practicing practicing euphonium. What's euphonium? Wolf Pup saying he's got carried away practicing euphonium. I just imagine him like singing something by the Eurythmics for some reason. Sweet dreams. Right. So I want to set a new condition here. And it's going to be patrol 1. That's a good way of doing it, because I could assign the patrol and match the letter of the ships doing the patrol to the patrol number. So if the letter is A, okay, and it's patrol number 3, then I could have that as a kind of indicator to match up. Right, okay. Lots of staring at screens doing this, by the way. So if it's in that, then I want to start going through the digits. We'll call it two. So that's waypoint 2. We'll call this one 3. The end result is that when the ships with this name get to that point, the new AI is assigned to them. And here we're going to call it 1. Okay. So this has to cycle through here. Reassign digits. Patrol 1 reassign. So this is the digit cycle that I nicked from earlier. This is how I reassign AI to ships when the game master wants to reassign AI here. So if I start this up, so this one took some figuring out as well. If the game master spawns some ships here, we'll go for some hegemony ships, and we'll do a Krellian fleet, and we'll just do a medium fleet, so there's plenty of ships. Okay, if the game master spawns these and wants to reassign that whole fleet with different AI, the script has to go through and check for every single one of those ships, and it does that using this digit reassign. So what happens is, say I want them, in fact I won't do it with those, I want this whole fleet to turn, and I want them to go this direction down here. That's what this is for. So I can click there. Oh, I need to change it actually. So I need to select my letter that it's going to reassign to, and I click there, and this pops up to say that it's been reassigned. And then what the script does is it goes through all of the possible combinations, gives the relevant AI to every possible combination, and then finishes, and then the button disappears. So the way that I go through all possible combinations is through this digit cycle here, and this steps through all possible combinations for me by increasing it by 1. Then it assigns the AI, then it increases by 1, then it assigns the AI, and it does that as quickly as the server can tick over. So I'm going to reuse this code to do the same for reassigning the AI here. Right, and anyway, I'm going to knock this off so that's not playing in the background. Okay, patrol 1 reassign. if those all are set, then I want this to be patrol 1 reassigned to 0. I don't know what that reassign AI 0 is about, so I'm going to keep that for a second. Okay, so first patrol number, second patrol number. Reassign number. So I want to change that reassign number, because if I don't change this reassign number, it's going to get confused with the AI code down here in this AI keys. So I'm not going to call it reassign number, I'm probably going to call it reassign patrol. So I should, there we go. Yep. Now, when patrol reassign is 2, I can execute this. Copy that. Paste that. So I'll execute that. And then I want it to go back and set it back to patrol reassign 1, so it'll go through that cycle again. So when it's 1, it'll go back to this, it'll do this, set it to 2, and then do it again. So I want to copy and paste these, and I want to drop them in here. Okay. Now I only want to execute this one when the patrol 1 is 3. I only wanted to execute that one when patrol 1 equals 2. So these are wrong. And this one I only want it to execute when patrol 1 is 1. Because when patrol 1 is 1, they're going to waypoint 1. When it's 2, they're going to waypoint 2. And when it's 3, they're going to waypoint 3. When that ship's within range of the 1 marker, it wants to set patrol 1 to 2. When it's range of the 2 marker, it sets it to 3. When it's range of the 1 marker, the 3 marker, it sets it to 1. Let's put those in order so it makes sense. Right. Now I think I can stop these triggering all of the time. No, I need to stop those triggering all of the time, because if it's within, if that exists and it's there, See ya. Thank you for watching. The whole 2 and a bit hours so far. Yeah, 2 hours. See you, Assassina. Okay, so that's going to work. Where do I set up the patrol route? I set it up down here. So I've got that patrol letter to letter prefix, so that's where I set the patrol letter to the letter prefix. So this wants to be if patrol letter equals 1. So that basically says if that patrol is active and that doesn't exist, then start searching for it. If it's active and it does exist and it's inside this sphere, then reassign. Going through each digit. I should best change this to letter number, I don't know. Then I can have all the letters that I need. I don't need it here because this one is dependent on this first one. It's where it gets complicated, you see, with a duplicating code for multiple letters, multiple patrols. By building this in now, when it comes to find and replace, and you'll see if I get to that point in this, you'll see the find and replace. Do I need it for these? Oh no, that's not going to work. Get rid of that. No, 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 don't want that. Because that patrol letter will change each time, won't it? Ah, do I need that? Do I want that? Should I use that? Nobody knows until I break something. Right, I think I'm going to leave it at that for tonight because it is midnight. I'd made a promise to myself that I'd be in bed before midnight. That's not held up. Thank you for watching. This is probably a few more hours work this because it's quite complex and I've come a long way there, I think, to setting it up, and I think going to bed, coming back to it fresh might give me some ideas of what I can do to make sure it's cycling through. It's there, I just can't put my finger on it at the minute. So like I said, I'm going to head off. I am going to come back to this. I'll probably live stream it again and it'll record. I'll put it into the playlist of the TSN Sandbox stuff. So if anybody's interested in watching the end of this and finishing it off, really I should have put this into a two-parter, I guess. I ended the stream and come back to it. It's ended up as one big stream with the finishing off the cluster mines and then adding this patrol in. But this is, like I say, this is going to be in a few more hours work, this, to try and get it correct, to make sure it works for all letters. So yeah, the tricky bit is it's got to work for every single fleet, so from fleet A all the way through to fleet Z, with any combinations from 00 to 99. So you've got to build that in. So this does the number combinations from 00 to 99. The whole thing does for the letter A, and then I'd have to duplicate that basically 28 times for all the way to the letter Z, and then duplicate it all 3 times again, all for the 3 different patrols that I'm going to create. So I'll cut it off at you can have a maximum of 3 patrols going on, which 3 enemy patrols is better than no enemy patrols, to be frank. 1 enemy patrol is better than none. And actually this will work. This isn't just going to work with enemies. We'll be able to set up like allied patrols as well, so you could have a transport ship going through the system. In fact, the last one actually would be really cool if the waypoint was right on the edge or something, and I added in exit, which I could do, so that you could have like a transport convoy going through a system. You could have a hegemonic patrol going around a particular area. You could have 2 enemy patrols, 1 on side 3, 1 on side 4, going through an area and meeting and engaging each other, completely independent of the players. I once actually sat and wrote a whole load of code for 2 command ships. So command ships are ships that we've got in the TSN Sandbox, are really high shielded ships with lots of weapons on. They're a tough target to crack. They take like 3 player ships to all be hitting them to be able to take them out at any particular speed. And I wrote code for 2 command ships, 2 Torgoth command ships to engage, and they'd go towards each other, they'd engage one another, attack, and then when one was too weak, it would break off and do an evasive action while the other one chased it, and then it would re-engage, and I basically got a continual fight going on. So it's really cool if you can get this kind of stuff set up. So these patrol routes with 2 enemy fleets who are enemies to each other set up, it'll make really interesting things for players to watch. So they could be trying to ambush a patrol that's going through an area, and then like a pirate patrol comes in, that then they've got to engage. They've got to say, right, am I going to sit here and wait for the pirate patrol to be wiped out to weaken them, or are we going to intervene before the pirate patrol gets there? So it'll create some interesting situations, I think, if I get it working. And if it's, once this is set up, I might change it as well. I could put in 5 patrol routes, I guess, but I need to make a counter and an indicator as well for the game master to say how many patrol routes they have created already, so that if they get to 5 patrol routes and that's already set, then they can't create anymore. Or when that fleet is gone that's assigned to that patrol route, then they can create a new patrol route. There's lots I can do with it, basically, lots and lots and lots, but it will just take, this bit needs to be worked out first to see if I can get 1 patrol route working, and then I can duplicate that as many times as I want. Anyway, like I say, that's it for now. Thank you very much for watching. I'm going to go and I'm going to get some sleep.